student naturopath today. So I've got written down here that your name is Hugo. Is that appropriate to call you by that name?
Yeah.
Awesome. So as a student naturopath, I will confer with my supervisor at the end of our session today just to go through your treatment plan and to just double check and get her advice on my treatment. But aside from that, everything that we discuss here will be confidential.
Yep.
Yeah. Have you ever seen a naturopath before?
No.
No worries, Hugo. So I'll quickly run you through the framework. So this consultation will run for roughly 60 minutes. I'll be focusing on your presenting complaint and I'll be asking you lots of different questions based on that so that we can get to the root cause of why you're presenting in clinic today. With that in mind, I will be tailoring a treatment plan utilising herbal treatments and nutritional supplements. Do you have any aversions or religious or social reasons as to why I would or will not be able to use alcohol or animal products in your treatment?
No information.
No information, no worries. So I will be typing notes down on my computer. Again, these will be confidential, but
Sorry, can't consume the animal products.
Yep, no problem. And alcohol?
Yep.
Yep, no problems. And did you have any allergies or anything I need to be aware of?
No known allergies.
Okay, awesome. So I will be typing on my computer, but if at any point you have any questions or you're not sure about something, you just let me know and I can explain.
Okay.
Alrighty. So what's brought you in today?
I would like to reduce the severity of my depression.
Yeah, okay, that's a really good goal to have. So Hugo, this depression that you're describing, in terms of the way it feels in your body, could you describe to me where the location of that depression is predominantly felt in your body?
I feel this like there is weight sitting on my chest and I can't breathe.
Yeah. Like a weight sitting on your chest.
Yeah, and I can't breathe.
Yeah. That can be quite common with depression. And in terms of the onset of this depression, could you tell me when this started for you?
Since 2015, I was regularly on antidepressants, but I had issues with erectile dysfunction. My wife and I started seriously trying for a baby about 13 months ago, but this was becoming an issue. With the help of my doctor, I weaned off the medication, my libido improved and my mood was stable. 8 months ago, I was diagnosed with low sperm count and my mood started to drop.
Yeah, that's a big life change I hear that you're going through. So since about 2015, so just under 10 years ago, we were using the antidepressants. Then about 13 months ago, we weaned off and you noticed an increase in your libido, which is great. Okay, and you've been trying for a baby for just over a year, is that right?
My wife and I started seriously trying for a baby about 13 months ago.
Yeah, about 13 months ago. Okay,
yeah.
No worries at all. In your experience so far, Hugo, is there anything that you can tell me that makes your depression better or worse?
Stressful or emotionally intense events. Most recently, the low sperm count diagnosis 8 months ago. Also, when I push myself too hard and don't sleep properly, it can trigger it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And anything that makes that better?
Better for taking care of myself, managing my stress levels.
Yeah, okay. So you notice that depression really eases it during the times that you're following that structure and you've got a good plan in place and you're taking care of yourself.
Yes.
Okay. And when we think about the quality of this depression or words that you could put to it to describe the way that it feels to you, does anything come to mind?
Yes. I feel as if I'm in slow motion. It is hard to think and to function. I lose my appetite and I can't be bothered eating.
Yeah, okay. A bit of a low appetite during those periods.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, that's very quite common, and that's definitely something that we can help with. And also that pain, or the weight that's sitting on your chest, when you do experience that, does that radiate anywhere else in the rest of your body?
When I'm at my worst, I will get a sharp chest pain in the center of my chest. It is painful to breathe and my joints ache.
Yeah. Okay, so you notice that sort of radiating to your joints as well, a bit achy at your worst?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And if we could scale your depression from a 0 to a 10, 10 being the worst depression that you've ever felt, would you be able to put a number to that for me?
When I'm at my worst, my mood is a 0 out of 10, with 0 being extremely low mood.
Yeah, okay, so when you are low, it goes very low.
Yeah, it goes to 0. The worst time of the day is I'm waking, and if I can't sleep through the night.
Yeah, okay. Yep, so you get those 0 days after not sleeping or having a bit of a rough night.
Yes.
No problem. Okay. And in terms of the timing, as you were saying, so it's the worst if you haven't slept and it's in the mornings. Is there any other times throughout the day that you've noticed that this pops up, or times throughout your life where this has popped up?
So I had my first bout of depression in my early 20s. I was studying for uni, staying up late to study. I was hardly eating, mainly toast, and drinking 2 to 3 cups of coffee and 2 to 3 caffeinated drinks per day. I was still going out with my friends to socialise. This lasted for 3 to 4 months without medication. Then in 2015, my mother suddenly died. It was a shock and I went onto the antidepressants. My mood has been up and down since.
I'm really sorry to hear about your mum. That would have been hard.
Thank you.
And Hugo, it's really important naturopathically that I get an understanding from your perspective where this depression comes from. Do you have any understanding of why this has been exacerbated for you?
I think that if I don't look after myself, I fall into a hole, and it runs in my family.
Yeah. Okay. No worries. So Hugo, now we're going to have a look at a few different systems in the body, just so that we can get a bit more of an understanding of this depression and how it's impacting the rest of your body.
Yeah.
So I'm firstly going to touch on your nervous system.
Okay.
Yeah, so would you mind telling me how your sleep is?
Generally, I'll go to bed and fall asleep straight away. I sleep for 8 hours and wake refreshed. When I'm stressed or anxious, it can take me 2 to 3 hours to get to sleep, and then I'll wake through the night. Sometimes I'll only get 1 to 2 hours of broken sleep.
Okay. And with this stress that you're experiencing, I know you did mention prior the low sperm count. Is there anything else that's weighing on your mind when you are trying to fall asleep?
Yes, I'm stressed about work and trying for a baby. I want us to fall pregnant naturally, as IVF is very expensive and the hormones would be such a strain on my wife, and I don't want her to go through this because of me.
Yeah, and that stress that you're experiencing when you are thinking about that on a scale of 1 to 10?
My stress levels are currently an 8 or 9
8 or
out
9
of 10,
out of 10. Yeah.
with 0 being no stress.
Yeah, okay. All right. And When you wake up of a morning, you said you don't feel super refreshed, but do you have any other symptoms upon waking?
I wake up with headaches at the moment. It is 4 to 5 times a week.
Wake up with headaches 4 to 5 times a week?
Yeah.
And do you notice, or has your wife ever told you that you might grind your teeth in your sleep, or do you struggle breathing when you're sleeping?
Sorry, with the headaches, they can also last all day if I don't take a pain tablet.
Okay, what pain tablet of choice do you usually take? Not sure.
No information.
Okay, so you just may need to take some pain medication.
Yeah. And in regards to the grinding my teeth, my dentist has actually told me I do that.
Yeah. No problem. Okay. And do you ever experience any lightheadedness, or visual disturbances or tingling sensations throughout the day?
Repeat the question, please.
Do you ever experience to what extent do you experience any lightheadedness or tingling in the hands throughout the day? It's okay.
And no information.
Yeah. No worries. And in terms of the feeling of heaviness across your chest, I just want to ask you a few questions about your circulatory system or your heart, just so that we can get a bit more of an understanding of what's going on there for you.
Okay.
So to what extent do you ever experience heart palpitations or a racing heart throughout the day?
I get heart palpitations when I'm really anxious or stressed, and I have had 3 to 4 ECGs in emergency because I keep thinking I'm having a heart attack, but it's always clear.
Yeah. So you've had 3 to 4 ECGs in the past?
Yeah.
Yep. What about your blood pressure? Has that been checked before?
I regularly get my blood pressure checked by the GP. It is usually on the lower side, and I've noticed that the bottom number is getting bigger, especially since I've come off the antidepressants. My GP says it's still normal at 105 over 70 to 75.
That's quite low. Is that normal for you?
No information.
All right. No problem. And Hugo, to what extent do you ever experience cold extremities or coldness in your hands and feet?
My fingers and toes are always cold.
Fingers and toes are always cold,
Yes.
no matter what you're doing, or?
Yes.
Yeah. No.
And no information.
Yep, no problem.
In regards to your blood pressure comment, I worry about that given my family history of my mum's death.
Okay, no problem. Yeah. Okay. So I will touch on your family history a little bit later, but I will note that you do have stress around that due to your mother's late passing. So I'll jot that down. So you've never had any high cholesterol or high blood pressure or?
No high cholesterol.
Okay, no problem. Okay. Alrighty. So I have written down that you are currently taking St John's wort.
Yes.
Was there anything else that you were taking at the moment?
On and off, I take Telfast tablets.
How long have you been taking those for?
On and off for 12 years.
For 12 years? Okay. Do you, how often do you experience hay fever?
Great question.
taking them for?
Yeah, for hay fever.
Hay fever?
Since arriving in Australia, I've suffered from hay fever.
Right. How long ago did you move to Australia?
No information.
No problem. Aside from the hay fever, how often would you say, how many times per year would you say do you get sick?
I rarely get colds. My last one was about 3 years ago. It took about 1 week to resolve, and I didn't take any time off work. It presents with a runny nose, cough, and sore throat. I did have a couple more things to say about the hay fever.
Could you explain, is there anything else you want to tell me about that hay fever? Do you know anything that triggers it, or?
Yeah, so I seem to react to dust and pollen 3 to 4 months of the year.
Yeah.
And I'll react at least 1 time a week.
Yeah, once a week.
Yeah. And I take Telfast from the chemist to get rid of the symptoms.
Do you notice any, that you experience any side effects from the Telfast, or any tiredness or fatigue or gastrointestinal upset?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, that's okay. Do you notice, have you ever experienced any side effects from that Telfast? Might not be on there.
No information.
It's alright. So going back to the medication that you're on, so how long have you been on this St John's wort for?
The St John's wort I started about 7 months ago.
Okay. And would you be able to recall the last time you went and saw your GP?
I think I do, yeah. My last medical checkup was 3 months ago to my GP to check my blood pressure.
Okay, yeah. That was the blood pressure, and it was around 100 on 70.
It was 105 on
Yep.
70 to 75.
Awesome. And was there anything else you were discussing with your GP at all? Or just the blood pressure?
My last medical checkup was just about my blood pressure.
Yeah, no worries at all. So I'm gathering some really good information from you here, Hugo, that will definitely assist me in creating your treatment plan. I'm just going to quickly go through your personal medical history. So I'm going to ask you questions related to any major illnesses, major life events, like big stressful events, or any major hospitalizations that have happened from birth.
Okay.
So we'll split that up into year groups. So from about the age, from birth to about the age of 5, could you tell me about any of the aforementioned?
NA.
And do you know what method of birth your mum birthed you?
No information.
Yeah, no worries. And then from about primary school to middle school, so about 6 to 17 years of age,
6 to 17, yep.
could you tell me about any of those big life events?
So I had asthma as a baby, but I grew out of it by 11 years of age.
Yep.
I had measles when I was 9. I was really sick and had a couple of weeks off school.
Yeah.
When I was 10, I broke my right hand side collarbone falling off my skateboard.
Okay.
I also tore my left ACL playing soccer at 17, and then had an ACL reconstruction at 18.
Okay. No worries. And then adulthood, I've listed the low sperm count, the bouts of depression over the last few years. Is there anything else that you'd like me to add on there?
I had chlamydia at 21.
Yeah.
And I also had alcohol poisoning and needed to spend the night in hospital when I was 22.
Okay, thank you for that. And can you remember, or have you ever experienced some pertinent overseas travel?
No overseas travel.
No overseas travel, but you've moved to Australia. What country? It might not be on there.
NA.
That's okay.
Sorry, no information.
No, that's okay. No worries at all. So, Hugo, we are going to take a bit of a glance at your family history now. If any of this upsets you or you don't want to talk about it, you can just say pass. So
Thank you.
that's all good. So starting on your paternal line, so your father's side,
Yes.
how old is your dad and does he have any medical histories if he's still with us at the moment?
My father is 62. He has eczema, asthma, and depression.
Yeah. And what about your grandfather on that side?
My grandfather's deceased in his 70s from a heart attack.
Yeah. And your grandmother on that side?
She's deceased at 52 years of age, and she had liver cancer.
Okay. Sorry.
Thank you.
Your uncles, aunts, and cousins on your paternal line, your dad's brothers and sisters. Anything you can tell me about them?
In the USA, and I think some of them have some mood issues.
Okay, no problem. And your maternal line, so thinking about your mum.
Yeah.
How old is your mum and does she have any pertinent medical history that we need to know about?
So my mum,
aside from that before she
she's dead.
So your late mother, I have listed here that she passed away from a heart attack.
Yeah.
Do you mind telling me what year that was?
She was 63.
Okay. Your grandfather on your mother's side?
Do I know a bit more about my mum?
Is there anything else you need to tell me about your mum?
She had type 2 diabetes and she was overweight, and she had anxiety and panic attacks.
Okay. And your grandfather on your mother's side?
He carked it when he was 76 from pneumonia.
Your grandmother?
She's 75 years old. She has dementia.
Okay. Aunts, cousins on your mum's side?
Yeah, nothing significant.
Okay. What about your siblings?
I have a brother. He's 38.
Yeah.
He's got bipolar disorder. He's medicated and he has weight issues.
No worries. Any other siblings?
Nil.
No worries. Okay. So Hugo, we're going to have a look at your lifestyle now.
Okay.
In terms of physical activity, how much physical activity would you say you're getting throughout the week?
My job is not physical and I walk for about 30 minutes at lunchtime.
So you're doing a 30-minute walk over your lunch breaks?
Yes.
Okay. No other physical activity?
No information.
No worries. We're going to talk about your energy levels now. So out of 10, how would you rate your overall energy levels?
My overall energy is between a 3 and a 4 out of 10.
3 and a 4 out of 10. And throughout the day, from morning to evening, when is the best your energy is and when is it the worst?
The worst time of the day is on waking morning and evening.
So in the mornings and in the evenings?
Yes.
No problem. So we'd say that your energy is quite inconsistent throughout the day. Okay. And with your sleep, Hugo, we did touch on it before. We were stating that during times of anxiety, you get about 1 to 2 hours of sleep. On the good days, what time roughly would you say you're going to sleep?
I'm going to sleep between 9 and 11 most nights, and I get up at 5.
Okay. Between 9 to 11, up at 5 a.m?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you get up during the night to use the bathroom at all?
I don't need to get up in the night to urinate.
Okay. So I've also got listed here that we're waking with headaches 4 to 5 times per week, waking with temple pain as well, relieved with Panadol. And how often would you say that you wake feeling refreshed?
Just in sleep in general, I will go to bed and fall asleep straight away. I'll sleep for 8 hours and I'll wake refreshed.
Okay, that's excellent information, thank you. So Hugo, on your form, on your intake form, you had your wife listed as your emergency contact. How would you describe your relationships with your family at home?
So I'm married since 2011 and I have a good relationship with my wife. It's just feeling a bit strained since the infertility issues.
Yeah. No worries. And how would you describe your relationships with those at work?
I work full time and I usually socialise with the people at work. But that's a bit affected. It can be affected when my mood is low and I don't want to go out or talk to anyone.
Yeah. Okay, no worries. And in terms of your hobbies and interests,
Yep.
anything you want to tell me about that? Is there anything that you enjoy doing on the weekends or?
No information.
No worries. Are you a smoker or have you ever been a smoker?
Yes, I used to smoke. I quit about 8 months ago. And I used to smoke 10 to 20 darts a day.
Yeah. Nice work giving up. That would have been very tough. Okay. And how long were you a smoker for?
I smoked from when I was 13 to when I was 36.
Okay, no worries. And any recreational drugs at the moment?
Occasionally smoke marijuana.
No worries. When was the last time you smoked marijuana?
About 8 months ago.
Yeah. Okay. So Hugo, the last thing that we're going to look at is a day on your plate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you at what times and what exactly you're eating and drinking throughout the day so we can get a bit of a picture of your diet.
Okay.
So your first meal of the day, what time is it and what is it?
I have breakfast at about 5:30.
Yeah.
I usually have cereal, which is cornflakes or all brown and milk.
Yep.
Or I'll have white toast and jam. And with that, I have 2 100ml short black coffees with 1 sugar.
1 sugar in each?
Yeah.
About a teaspoon?
Yep, 1 teaspoon of sugar. 7 out of 7 days.
Every day. Sorry, did you say you have 1 short black in the morning or 2?
I have 2 100ml short black coffees.
2 100ml short blacks, no problem.
Yeah, and I have the cereal 4 times a week and I have the toast and jam 3 times a week.
Yeah, no worries. Okay. So on the weekends it's still the cereal or the toast?
Yeah, I have the same.
Nice. An AM snack, do you have morning tea?
I do.
What time?
At 9 a.m.
Yeah, and what would you usually have?
7 out of 7 days I'll have just a seasonal fruit, like apples, oranges or bananas.
Yeah.
And I'll also have 7 out of 7 days a 100ml short black coffee with 1 teaspoon of sugar.
No problem. How are we going for lunch? What do we usually have for lunch?
What do I usually have at lunch? I usually have a wholemeal roll. I have ham 2 days a week, chicken 2 days a week, roast beef 3 days a week, with salad, which is lettuce, cheese, tomato, celery, and cucumber.
No worries. So you're having that, so that's 6 days a week?
7 days a week.
7 days a week? So it'll be one of the above rolls, no worries. Are you having any coffee or anything else at lunch?
So at lunch I have a 100ml short black coffee with 1 teaspoon of sugar.
Yep. No worries. So same on the weekends. Alright, and any afternoon snacks?
Occasionally, at about 3 o'clock, I'll have seasonal fruit.
Okay. And any coffees in the afternoon?
No.
Okay. And how are we going for dinner? Do you usually cook, or your partner? Are we eating it out at home?
We usually have it at home.
Yeah.
I can decide. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
What do you usually have?
What do I usually have?
Yeah, and what time?
At 6 p.m. I usually have a roast, beef or chicken with veggies.
Yep.
Like carrots, potatoes, pumpkin and corn, and a low salt gravy. And I'll probably have that 3 to 4 times in 7 days in a week.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll have grilled meat, so beef, lamb or chicken, and I'll have that with salad, so like iceberg lettuce, olives, capsicums, tomatoes, celery, and I have a balsamic vinegar and olive oil dressing. And I usually have that 4 to 5 times a week.
Okay. Awesome. And then any beverages at dinner time?
Red wine with dinner every night.
Red wine with dinner every night. No worries. And so that was every day, so that's same on the weekends. And then in terms of your beverages, so are you drinking anything aside from the coffee and the red wine?
Yeah, so as you said, the coffee and the red wine, so 4 coffees a day and the red wine with dinner daily.
Yeah.
And then I also have 3 200ml drinks of water.
Every day?
No information.
Okay, that's all good. And in terms of eating out, I see here that most of the meals are at home, but do you ever sporadically go out for like pizza or pasta?
No.
No worries. And in terms of your food cravings or aversions, do you have any?
Coffee when I'm tired every day.
Alright, well, thank you so much for sharing that information with me. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to pop out and talk to my supervisor, and we're going to get a treatment plan for you.
Awesome,
do you have any questions for me before I do that?
No questions.
Awesome. Alright, thank you.
Thank you.